All right, we got another one here, a convertible from the IdeaPad line from Lenovo. It's the IdeaPad 5X, 2-in-1 convertible. And I like the IdeaPad line because you're getting some high-end premium features, but you're not breaking the bank. This comes in sub $1,000, and if you can find it on sale, maybe even less. Now, this is running the Qualcomm Snapdragon X Plus processor, so keep in mind, you may have some compatibility issues with some drivers and x86 apps, although it's getting a little bit better. I will say, though, the performance for what it is very good. You also are getting some snappy single-core, multi-core performance, but it's not going to be the Snapdragon X Elite, and that's a higher end in terms of performance. But the keyboard is those familiar smile-shaped keys from Lenovo we know and love. It's got an all-metal design here. I think this is all-metal. I'm pretty sure of it. It's got a nice lightweight design. It also has a convertible 360-degree hinge, so you can put it into the different modes. And, of course, it has an OLED display. So this is not a 3K, it's a full HD plus, so 1080p plus, or higher than 1080p, I should say 1200p, but it does have the OLED. So what does that mean? You're getting the deep blacks, the super vibrant colors, the high contrast, it's all there. And I think you don't need to go above that because you are gonna get some pretty nice battery life out of this. You are gonna get a premium feel and look to it. Of course, I wouldn't be doing any AAA gaming. Of course, the Snapdragon is not great for gaming, at least not yet, at least with these iterations. So we'll get into performance, we'll get into the numbers. The display, to me, is the star here for what you're getting sub 1,000, although there might be some better deals out there, but if you can find this on sale, this becomes more compelling. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is the Lenovo IdeaPad 5X 2-in-1 convertible here for 2024. Coming up. Now, before we get to the unit itself, I just want to let everyone know, in the interest of transparency, full disclosure, I'm not being paid or being sponsored by Lenovo. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Lenovo is not getting copy approval. This unit is on loan from Lenovo, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Now, good news here. It looks like it's on sale right now at Lenovo's website, $689.99. That's 23% off the original $900 asking price. You're getting a terabyte of storage, 16 gigabytes of RAM with this Snapdragon X Plus processor. Again, for those that are interested, I'll drop links for this in the description below. So, without further ado, let's get this thing out of the box. All right, let's see what we get here. We get the charging and the power cable, and I think we get a pen here. All right. So here's everything. We get our pen here. So let's take a look at that real quick. And it's one we've seen before from Lenovo. So nothing too special here, although it's going to get the job done. So that's good. So let's put that to the side. All right. And then we get our power cord here. That's going to obviously be for charging. Let's see the wattage here. So I always put this paper now. It says 65 watt. So 65 watt power charger. And we'll put that to the side. We'll get a measurement of the weight and some warranty documentation and so forth right there. Not a big deal. And of course, the unit itself. And it's in this nice gray finish we've seen from Lenovo. And I like what they're doing here styling-wise. Pretty nice. The IdeaPad 5 2-in-1. And again, Snapdragon based here. So pretty nice all-metal design. Very little give or flex. Really rock-solid build here. Let's do the you-know-what test. Ooh, well, it's a little bit top heavy. Again, 2-in-1, keep that in mind. You could almost do it. All right, so right off the bat, they give you a diagram of everything. It's a touchscreen. Obviously, it's a 2-in-1. You can see all the different things here, the port selections, everything there. You can pause it there. We'll go over all that in a little bit. But that is what they give you here. And here it is. And this is an OLED display. This is going to be, I believe, 1920 by 1200. It's looking pretty good. And let me go to the display settings here. Let's get to the heart of the matter. And this one, of course, pretty bright so far. And it's 1920 by 1200. Let me go to the advanced display settings. And this one is a 60 hertz display. And again, at this price point, I'm not surprised. Now, let me go here to the system specs here. And what we have is the Snapdragon X Plus, as I mentioned. This is the 42100 variant of the X Plus, of course. So that means this is going to be more budget oriented. So it's going to cost less money, but you're going to get a lot of the benefits of ARM. That means you're going to get more efficiency. You're going to get the battery life. And of course, it's going to run hopefully cool and quiet. So those are the things it brings to the table. Keep in mind, you might have some compatibility issues with x86 apps, although there are a lot of native ARM apps that work really well on this. And we're seeing good performance, although it won't be quite as good as the Snapdragon X Elite. So just keep your expectations in check. But if you're looking for a budget 2-in-1 with an OLED display with this new ARM-based processor from Qualcomm, I think this is a one to look at. And of course, we have the pen here. And let's see, yeah, the pen is ready to rock and roll. There you can see it. So check the battery remaining on the pen and all that stuff in the settings. It comes up here as a pop-up. We'll look at that later. But pen feels pretty good. And of course, that is a nice value add. And I don't know where it sticks on the thing, if it sticks magnetically anywhere, if there's anywhere to store this. I don't think so, but you might have to keep it in a pocket in your bag. So that's where we are so far. Now, let's take a look at the keyboard layout here. Fingerprint scanner, you got your touchpad. It seems pretty good. You got your smile-shaped keys that Lenovo is known for, and I actually like the feel of them so far. It's pretty good. They're the smile-shaped keys we know. There's the Copilot key there. There's some speaker grills over there, it seems like. And of course, this being a 2-in-1 convertible means you can put this into the different modes here. You've got the tent mode here. And look at that display, the deep blacks, the vibrant colors are here and the high contrast. And there's the tent mode. And of course, you could put it into the presentation or stand mode. And then of course, you could put it in the tablet mode to use with the pen. And of course, not heavy. Actually, we'll get a measurement to weight. Not so bad. I've felt worse, actually, in this category. So not bad. I think you're getting a lot of good bang for the buck. Nice hinges on here. Some venting over there. So pretty good. Let's get a closer look at this device. All right, let's get a measurement of the weight with just the unit alone. You're looking at 1.505 kilograms, and that is 3 pounds, 5.1 ounces. All right, so not too bad. All right, let's put it into kilograms with the power charger, power cord. You're looking at 1.793 kilograms or 1.794, and that brings it to 3 pounds, 15.3 ounces or 15.2 ounces, or it doesn't want to make up its mind here. And let's put it back into kilograms. And with the pen, a total travel weight here, 1.811 kilograms, and that is 3 pounds, 15.9 ounces all in for a total travel weight. All right, let's check out the port selection. And on the left side, you get an HDMI 2.1 port, and you get 2 USB Type-C ports. Now, these are 10 gigabits per second, not the USB 4.0, which would give you 40 gigabits per second, so a little bit of a negative there. And then you get your 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack. I'd like to see those 2 USB-C ports split up as well. Now, let's move on to the right side. And on that right side, you get your power button, a micro SD card reader, and 2 USB-A ports. They're 5 gigabits per second, and those are good to have, of course. So overall, pretty good port selection. Like I said, USB 4.0 is notably missing here. But other than that, you do get a pretty decent port selection, especially at this price point. Now, to get to the internals, there are only 4 T5 Torx screws that you need to remove. Use a spudger or guitar pick to pry off the bottom plate, and you're in. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Pretty easy. I like that. Now, you'll notice that it does have a 57 watt-hour battery. We'll get to the battery life in a little bit. And spoiler, this one is also pretty good. And you also get a pretty large single fan for cooling. We'll get into the thermal performance later on as well. Now, as far as the SSD, a 1 terabyte included with my review unit. And as you can see, very good reads and writes, certainly fast enough what you need this laptop to do. And of course, this is user replaceable, so always good to have that. Now, one thing you'll notice, this is a smaller form factor, the M.2 2242 SSD for those wondering, not the full size 2280. And like most laptops here at the end of 2024, as we head into 2025, the RAM is soldered into the motherboard, not user upgradable. So I would think, 16 gigabytes is enough for most people, and that's what we get here in this review unit. And it's running at the very fast 8448 megatransfers per second. And that, of course, is LPDDR5X RAM. Now, when it comes to the wireless, you're looking at a Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4 combo card, and that is soldered into the motherboard. So that is not user upgradable, but the good news is devices. It is Wi-Fi 7, making it more future-proof, and I've had no issues with either the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth. And while we have a close-up here, here's a look at the keyboard layout. Notice the Copilot key, the fingerprint scanner below the keyboard, and overall pretty nice keys here. I'm going to test out the backlight, all that stuff. Of course, we'll test the typing experience, but if it's anything like the other IdeaPads, they're going to be pretty good with those smile-shaped keys. It also has looks like a glass touchpad. It's a precision diving board style touchpad. It's not haptic or anything like that. I'm not expecting it at this price point, but I think overall a pretty nice layout. All right, let's talk about the star of the show, and that would be its 14-inch 1920 by 1200 OLED or OLED display. Yes, the deep blacks, super vibrant colors, the high contrast. It's a multi-touch display, 16:10 aspect ratio. Now, this is 60 hertz, so it's not 120 that you get on the more expensive laptops, so just keep that in mind. But you do get the excellent coverage of the color gamut. This is going to be great for Photoshop, Lightroom, light video editing with this because, again, the processor is not the most powerful here, but definitely you're going to get the coverage of the color gamut. It's very color accurate, so very good in that regard. You're looking at 400 nits of screen brightness, but keep in mind it is a somewhat glossy display, but I think they put a good anti-reflective coating on it, and I think the overall fidelity of the display is excellent. The very vibrant, super vibrant colors, I should say, high contrast, everything with an OLED display. The deep blacks are all here. Watching movies on this has been very good. Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, and it's a really nice display. So the other thing, of course, it has is pen support. It comes with the pen, and taking notes, sketching out artwork has been very good on this. So, of course, you're going to use this in tablet mode, but I would use it on a desk or a table most of the time. But, it's about 3 pounds or so, and it can get a little heavy after a while. But, of course, you have it, all the other modes. You got the tent mode, you got the presentation mode. So there's a lot of versatility when it comes to this 2-in-1 convertible. And as with any OLED display, just be aware that screen burn-in might happen down the road if you keep a static image too long on this, but of course there is a screensaver and all that. Just be aware of that. And with the PWM, of course, screen flickering is something you need to be aware of when it comes to an OLED display. So those are a couple of things you just need to be aware of. But to me, I'm a big advocate for OLED displays. I like the color accuracy. I like the coverage of the color gamut. I just like the way everything pops, the deep blacks. It's all there. And this is a great display. Sub $1,000, so I'll take it any day of the week. So this is the camera on the Lenovo IdeaPad 5X running the Snapdragon X Plus Copilot plus PC. This is 1080p. It's not an IR camera, so no face recognition with Windows Hello, but there is a fingerprint scanner located on the keyboard deck. Setup was easy, and it worked very well, very responsive, registering my finger each and every time I used it. What do you think about the video quality, and what do you think about the audio quality? Now, this is a Copilot plus PC. That means it has an NPU to handle things such as the background blur, the studio effects, all the things that you can find in the camera app, and as well as AI stuff and all that, jazz. But of course, we've gone over that a million times. What do you think about this camera? Let me know in the comments section below. All right, let's talk about the keyboard, and I really like this keyboard quite a bit. It's got pretty good key travel. It's the smile-shaped keys we know from Lenovo in a lot of their other lines, especially here in this IdeaPad line. So very comfortable typing out documents, emails, and the like, so not a problem in terms of productivity, of course. And it does have a nice multi-stage backlight that, you can see the keys pretty well in a dark room. So that's going to allow you to get work done in a dark room or say a dimly lit cabin on an airplane. So very good in that regard. Now it does have a precision touchpad that I thought was very responsive when it comes to scrolling, doing all the gestures. Now it's not a haptic touchpad or anything like that, but at this price point, I'm not expecting it, but it did work very well. I have no issue with the touchpad or the keyboard for that matter. Okay, let's talk performance, and this is running the Snapdragon X Plus, the 42100. So you're not going to get the Snapdragon X Elite performance, but that being said, I saw very impressive single and multi-core performance, especially for what you're getting here, sub $1,000. In fact, it's $690 or so right now on sale. So a really good price to performance ratio. And as you can see, Cinebench, you're getting a 107 score. Actually, it's tied the Yoga Slim 7X that I have here. So pretty good. 671, good multi-core for what you're getting. getting here. So everyday performance, Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, watching movies is what I would stick to, especially with this ARM-based processor. You might have some compatibility issues, although getting a little bit better with the x86 apps, right? But the GPU here is not the star of the show. This is where you may take a little bit of a hit. It's not going to be good as the ARC graphics we saw from Intel or the Radeon graphics that we see here this year from AMD. So definitely something to keep in mind. Gaming has been pretty much hit or miss, but you can play some older games. Some may not work, so it's just about hit or miss. We may have to do a separate video on that. Now, as far as the Time Spy stress test, when I ran it to see if this will thermal throttle, it got a passing score of 99.8%, so pretty much no thermal throttling under load. The keyboard stayed cool under load as far as surface temperatures, never getting overly hot. So this unit has stayed very cool on the underside as well. So overall surface temperatures remain at bay. Really good in terms of that. And it does have that large single fan that we looked at. So very definitely here we're seeing very cool temperatures. Now, when it comes to the fan noise, the only time you'll really hear the fan kick in is when you're under heavy load in the performance mode. But I would say 90% of the time when you're doing everyday tasks, the fan was not an issue. The fan noise was not distracting even when it did come on. Okay, let's talk battery life. And this has a 57 watt hour battery. And keep in mind, it does have an OLED display, which uses more power than an IPS or LCD panel. So just keep that in mind. But that being said, I got almost 18 hours on video playback on the PC Mark 10 test, and that is really good. So it's not going to be quite as good as some of the others in the Snapdragon category that we looked at earlier this year with the Snapdragon Plus and X Elite models, but it definitely is up there. 18 hours is nothing to sneeze at. I would say anywhere from 10 to 12 hours, real world mixed usage. So if you stick to the basics, you can definitely get all day battery life. But of course, everybody's use case is a little bit different, so your mileage may vary. Now, they do include a 65 watt USB Type-C charger in the box, and that supports rapid charge, so you can fast charge on this as well. Now, we're looking at Dolby sound here, or Dolby audio according to the specs here. It's not Dolby Atmos, so I don't think that's an option there, but you do get some presets here. I have it on music right now. And as far as the stereo speakers, I think they're pretty good, especially at this price point. This is definitely not bad for a convertible. But of course, let's give it a listen. You let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, let's give it a listen. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the Lenovo IdeaPad 5X 2-in-1 convertible here for 2024 as we head into 2025? And I got to say, if it's like any other Snapdragon product here with the Qualcomm new chip here we get in 2024, I would say stick to the basics. Microsoft Office, email, web browsing. You're going to have a great experience. Watching movies, a great experience, especially on that 14-inch Full HD Plus OLED display. I like the pen included. I like the convertible versatility it gives you. That is where this really shines, and especially at a reduced price right now, this makes it even more compelling in terms of a choice here. But if you need to use highly specialized x86 apps or some gaming that you want to play that won't run on this, then I would recommend something from AMD or from Intel where you won't have the compatibility issues. There may be some driver issues for some, so it just depends on what you're doing. But if you stick to the basics, like I said, with the Snapdragon X Elite, the same applies here. You're going to have a good experience. It's where you try to do things it's not capable of, at least not yet. That's where I would recommend going with those other two platforms. But that being said, this is a really good deal, especially at $689 right now over at Lenovo's website. You're getting all this in the package. It's a really nice design. It's thin, it's light, it's a nice convertible with a really gorgeous display. So I can recommend it here as we round out 2024 heading into 2025.